Hi, I'm Erin Dietrich from the International Spy Museum. Today we are making a cheesecake recipe from the most damaging spy you've never heard of, Ana Montes. First, we had to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. For the crust, we need chocolate chip cookies and butter. All right, so when we make the crust, we gotta crush up the cookies first. I'm gonna crush up these cookies by putting them in a bag and then crushing them all up with this handy potato masher. All right. You might be thinking, why are you making her cheesecake? She was an analyst at the DOJ, the Department of Justice, in the 80s. And you know an office potluck. Everybody loves an office potluck. For her office potlucks, she made this cheesecake recipe, and everybody loved her cheesecake recipe. They loved it so much they asked for the recipe, and one of those coworkers came to a program at the International Spy Museum and handed us the recipe. So now we have the recipe to her cheesecake, and here we are today. We have crushed cookies in a bowl. We're gonna add butter now. First, I'm gonna eat one of the crushed cookies, and we're gonna bind this all together. So now I'm gonna take the crushed up cookies with the butter and put it in a springform pan and press that down in order to make a nice crust. I'm gonna press it down, press it up into the sides so that we get a nice cheesecake crust. All right, so Ana Montes, she was originally working, like I said, she was working at the DOJ when this cheesecake recipe gained popularity among her coworkers. So she was originally recruited as a spy when she was working at the DOJ. She then moved to work at the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, where she was officially recruited to be a spy. And to be clear, am I a professional baker? No. I'm the Programs and Podcast Assistant at the International Spy Museum. Now I'm gonna put this to the side. The ingredients that we need for the cheesecake base are 2 blocks of cream cheese, vanilla, sugar. This is 1 cup of sugar, and we have 3 eggs. That's it. It was a simpler time back then. Just dump all this into a bowl and get to mixing. And I need some scissors. I've learned that there's instructions on this to open. After following the directions, now I have opened this. Clearly I don't need a lot of cream cheese, because yes, I am lactose intolerant. So what was very impressive about Ana Montes was when she was working as a spy at the DIA, her method, wasn't to take pictures of anything, it wasn't to write anything down in the moment. When she saw information that could be useful, she memorized it all in her brain and then would go home at the end of the day to her home in Cleveland Park, Washington, D.C., and write it all down then. So memorize all the information, then go home at the end of the day, write it all down. I couldn't do that. Sugar in the bowl. Vanilla paste, I feel like that's a teaspoon. All the ingredients are in the bowl. It's mixing time. Woo! So we have mixed together all of the ingredients. She doesn't say how long to mix it for or to what consistency, but this is what we did. It looks right to me. Now that we've mixed it, we're gonna pour it into the crust. All right, cheesecake in the crust. We're gonna spread it out. All right, that looks wonderful.
Putting it in the preheated 350 degree oven.
So we've just put the cheesecake in the oven. It's gonna bake in the oven for about an hour. So while we wait for that, I'll tell you all a little bit about the M.I.C.E acronym. That's M-I-C-E. So it stands for money, ideology, coercion, and ego. So we'll start with money. Money, think somebody like Benedict Arnold. He spied for the British during the Revolutionary War for money. Ideology, this is somebody willing to spy for something that they believe in. So for Ana Montes, that was communism. Coercion, this is when somebody is forcing you to do something that you don't want to do, so think blackmail. And then finally, ego. So somebody like Robert Hansen, for example. He wasn't getting the validation from his colleagues that he was seeking, so he sought it elsewhere.
All right, so we've taken it out of the oven after it baked for an hour. We've let it cool for some time, and we're gonna pop it out of the springform pan now and hope that all turned out well. Looks pretty good to me. Ta-da! First bite of Ana Montes' cheesecake recipe. It's very good. To end this story, Ana Montes was arrested after a very long FBI investigation. She was arrested on September 21st, 2001. She eventually served a 25-year prison sentence. One of the most recent additions to the International Spy Museum's collection is actually the handcuffs that were used to arrest Ana Montes. Unfortunately, those handcuffs are not currently on display. But if you want to see the handcuffs used to arrest Robert Hansen or the handcuffs of the Russian 10, come visit us at the International Spy Museum here in DC.